Hey there, scrappy friends. Suzanne here in the studio today with the third installment in my series, Stash Bash Using Challenges. As you recall, the first challenge was the 100 paper pattern challenge. The second challenge was the scrap backwards challenge, where we use a sticker sheet to create a kit. So instead of starting with papers and then picking embellishments, we start with the stickers and then pick papers and embellishments after that. It was a fun challenge, and you were able to see the kit. I wanted to show you today what I actually created. First off, as you may recall, we used this Now and Forever Scrapbook Workshop Guide as what I was going to use for laying out my pages, and this worked really well. This Now and Forever was so popular that it sold out right away at Close to My Heart, so it's not available anymore, but it's a good resource. The Scrapbook Workshop Guides are a very good resource for using your own pattern paper. I am really glad that this is all red and pink. I am really glad that I added in quite a bit more color, and I also had a different vibe to my kit. My kit was a brighter, happier, spring forward looking kit and not this sort of slightly vintage vibe. So let's see what I actually created. And here is the first layout. Isn't this pretty? As you can see, the star of the show here is that pretty floral, which was the first paper I picked for this kit. Then I've used quite a few doodads on here. I really wanted to use this car. I thought that was super cute. So since the driver's wearing sunglasses there, that was an easy way to pull the sunglasses over to this page. As you can see, I have a visual triangle of flare. Those all worked out real nice. I've got a little doily here. And then I've got some various buttons, the fancy pants buttons that I had. And then this one here in teal. So I really like how this turned out. This would be a really cute page to put pictures of my husband and I on when we go for our little day road trips. So let me give you a close-up of some of those clusters. People often ask, how do you do your clusters? And I think there's basically two ways to kind of do a cluster. You can stack things or you can scatter things. Here you can kind of see where it's more of a stack. Everything is touching everything. But down here, you'll see it is more of a scatter. I've kind of scattered them down. Some things overlap, so there is some stacking, but it's more of a scatter. I really have embraced this kind of embellishment cluster in recent years. Okay, that was the first two pages. Let's go to the second two pages. The embellishment clusters here were really based on the sticker sheet. It was called Love Letters by Photo Play. So there were a lot of these birds and post office boxes or mailboxes, some envelopes. So I use that basically to do all of my embellishment clusters. And then I just used love letters. The word love was on the sticker sheet, and then letters. This was from that second sticker book by My Mind's Eye. But all of these letters worked out real good there. And as you can see, we've got this sort of visual triangle with the birds here and here and here. Also, I've got these cute little buttons. It just turned out, when I was looking for a few more of these buttons, I saw that there was some orange in there as well. A lot of times when I get packs of buttons that are the same button in different colors, I do store those together. So that was a happy accident. I didn't realize I was going to need the orange so much, but I like the fact that I could add it in here. Also, this strip here and the one on the other page, you'll see those were just scraps that I happen to have. I love this sticker of the envelopes that ties across the 2 pages right into this mailbox. So it looks like, okay, I'm typing up the love letter and it ends up over here, sealed with a kiss. Here again, this is sort of a combination of a stacked embellishment and a scattered. So some of these things are touching, but then we've got 2 other items over here that are not touching. So stack and scatter. And then I just think this is adorable. Okay, that is a lot of photos here. And I like that they had called in the Close to My Heart instructions, they double matted. So I went to my yellow and orange, and I did mats in those 2 colors. So this is really a very happy page, which is kind of my, if I have a brand, I hope it's kind of that. I do serious pages from now and then, but generally my default is let's be happy. So we have those 2 pages here. Then we were down to the 3rd page. This is much simpler, but it's really striking how this turned out. Luckily, I still had some of those birds left. They are so cute. So here I've made a big deal out of the title. I put washi tape on a piece of white cardstock. And then this sticker was actually from one of the other ones I had showed you when I was doing the kit. This is from a Bella Blvd sticker. But I liked the length of it. I didn't have anything this long left. So I used that. And then also I went outside of my kit to get this acrylic doily. I love these heart crocheted doilies. I managed to use the pink ones. I don't think I used any of the green ones. Okay. And then I also here, I used washi tape just directly on the page. So it's just a little bit different. Let me show you, give you a close-up of these. Embellishment clusters. Some cute. So this is a very linear, it really draws your eye across the page because the embellishment clusters were at the top and at the bottom. And then your pictures, your photos in the middle should really stand out. You shouldn't be distracted by this top and bottom, but it will kind of guide your eye across the page. So I think this turned out super, super cute. All right. And then they had done a 1-page. And here I really wanted to showcase the 2 pieces of paper that I thought went together the best. And that is this floral here. And then the back of the other floral was this paper. And the Close to My Heart instructions had this as a much smaller sort of frame layer. But I wanted you to be able to see enough of it to see all of those lines and to really see the pattern. As you can see here, I also did a little bit of stamping, a few hearts in the background. I think I got about the right number. I think that's one of the hardest things to do is when it looks like it's still missing a little something, is to add in a couple of little things at the end. That can be kind of hard to do. And of course with stamping, you know, you're taking a little risk, but I think it turned out well. Then I've got this doily stacked here. I've got 3 of them. I actually used my Close to My Heart heart die cuts, and I find out I actually have 2 sets of those, so I'm gonna have to put one of those up for sale. I ended up with 2 of those by mistake, so luckily I didn't open the second one. So here we've got, I tried to use all the brads with the metal rims on the same page, and I think it turned out real cute. And then we've got gold in each of the 3 clusters as well. We've got some gold up here by this title. And then of course we have gold here, Be Mine. And then over here we have this gold heart. And then I really like that we've got this border of hearts going across, and then there's a piece of backing on that so that later on I can slip the photo in there and it won't be any trouble. So at this point I was left with lots of scrap. So I thought, okay, let's do some cards. Want to see those? Okay, here we go. Here is the first one. Will you be mine? This is pretty simple, using one of the white doilies, that leftover sticker strip, and then just strips of paper as my card front base. It's cute. Here's another one where I had a couple of square pieces left, so I thought I was reminded of this pattern where these two pieces are rectangular and these two are squares, and then you fill in each of the squares. That's very fun. Happy Valentine's Day. Envelope, follow your heart, always and forever, and love. Isn't that cute? Next up, I wanted to go through a few more doilies. The only bad thing about these doilies is they actually say Wilton on this doily here. But look at that. It was a perfect cover-up. And then I put a sticker here on that little part of the doily, and then some stickers around the edge. Got a little visual triangle of black going on here. Moves your eye around the card. That was kind of fun. I like that one. Still had quite a bit of gold, so we went with the Be Mine Sweetheart. Here I added in some gold gems from my stash. And then I like the gold photo corners. It's a fairly simple card, but the corners kind of up its impact. Here's another one. This red was a scrap, so I pulled that out. And then I like this black border at the bottom. It kind of anchors the design. Again, I've covered up that Wilton on the doilies. We've got a bird here in gold, and then we've got gold accents down here, including a couple of gems. So hopefully you can see that. Next up, I did a little more stamping. Here I took the bird cage, and then I did the two birds in different colors. And it says, Wild About You. I also added in some foil paper. As I was going through the scraps looking for paper, I found that, and so I just used a hole punch to punch some dots. And then the background of this card, you'll see, I believe these are maybe 3 by 3 squares, and I just offset the 4 of them. Really trying to use up my scraps. Okay. Next up, this was a fun one. Sprinkle a few hearts around here. You and me, my heart belongs to you. XOXO. I added this pale pink happened to be from my scraps. And then here, instead of putting just one enamel dot, I did them in groups of 2. There was enough open space on this card that just the one each, just didn't look like it had enough emphasis or focus, so I doubled up on the dots. That's something I think I'll do more often. I like how that looks. There's that one. Here's a very fun one, Sending You Love, Ooh La La, Sealed with a Kiss. So those were off of that second sticker book by My Mind's Eye. And then there were lips on both sticker sheets, My Mind's Eye and the photo play, so I got some of those in there. Very fun. And then kind of up the impact with a few black enamel dots, also from my stash. Okay, I had quite a bit of this paper left, so I did some stamping with the postage kinds of stamps. I did it in red on the middle to kind of make a border, and then on the top and bottom, I just did it in a very pale pink, so it looks more like tone on tone. And so then we've got the bird, Be My Valentine, and then the smaller bird who looks like he's delivering the envelope. Isn't that fun? I liked how that turned out. And I've got one more, and this was my favorite, I think. This is scrap here on the background, but I wanted to use all of these vases and bottles full of hearts and letters and stuff. So I put it on a black piece of paper. I used a piece of dark red scrap under it. And then a couple of hearts. I really like you. Happy Valentine's Day. And then I had a couple more stickers inside that that same jar on pink, and then you give me all the feels. Isn't that fun? Okay, now why don't I show you what I had left of my kit to see what worked and what didn't work. Okay, first of all, things I did not use. I did not use these felt. This wasn't exactly the same vibe that most of my papers were, the floral paper, so it just didn't work as well as I thought it was going to. I didn't use the teal hearts, but I did use the pink ones. I only have a couple of the Wilton doilies left. I did not use this because it slid under some paper, and so I kind of forgot about it. So when I was looking for dots, I just went to my stash. And that's not really a problem. I should show you how I store my enamel dots. Once I've opened a package like this, I don't leave them in the package. I will then cut them up as soon as I've used some of them, and I will divvy them out here. And then if the camera will pick this up, you can see here I've labeled each with what is in them. And then this sits in a basket, and I have another one underneath it, same color division, and it's for bling. So if it's a shiny something or other, then it goes in the tray underneath. So I have found that a very good organization tip. Okay, I did use, I'd say about, I don't know, half a dozen of the images in the stamp set. I was happy about that. I used up all 8 pieces of paper that I had in the kit. Let's see, now here, put this on white so it's a little easier to see. I used some of these hearts. I used 2 out of the 3 sets of brads. I used, I think, 4 out of the 10 flare. I did not use the metal photo turns and little frames. I didn't use any of those. And I didn't use either of my metal paper clips. So this was called Scrap Backwards, and we started with a sticker sheet. So that's the real test. How did I do on the sticker sheet? Well, of that 12 by 12, this is all I have left. This will get put in my sticker binder by colors. So I am really super happy about that. But you remember, I also had this My Mind's Eye sticker sheet. This had 6 sheets. I have gotten this down to 3. I moved everything, like putting all the flowers together and sort of all the black and white together to see what I could, to kind of sort it down. And then here I have what's left of the light turquoise and some of the gold on the second page. And then, of course, I had the sticker sheet. So I thought that was really good. I just about got rid of that sticker sheet, and I used half of this sticker book. So I'm feeling pretty good that Scrap Backwards challenge worked for me. I might have to use that one again. Okay, so we are ready to get to the next challenge. We've done 100 pattern papers. We've done Scrap Backwards. Now I'm going to revive an old challenge that I used to do back on my Snaps and Snippets blog back in the 2009, 2010, 2011 time frame. And the idea on this was that I would choose a company and use their products and make some layouts from a kit. So I would basically start with one company. Now, going through all my 100 pattern papers, I noticed I had a lot of Bella Blvd. So I went through, and I'm going to scrap In Good Company with Bella Blvd. So what papers did I have from that line? Well, as you may recall, I had this Houseplants one, and the reverse side of that is this green. I had this You Are My Sunshine with all the butterflies, and there was black on the back of that. I had 2 sheets of this Flower Garden. That's really fun. On the back of that, we have these red dots. And then last but not least, I had this You Are My Sunshine. And on the back of that, we had green. So I was kind of looking at this and making this sort of the basis for another kit. Oops, wait a minute, I have one more. My Candy Girl. And on the back of that is yellow. So we have 7 pieces of paper here. So let's see if we can start with just Bella Blvd and make a kit. So it's time to bring in some cardstock. So I've got a couple of pieces of basil white. I have some bright green, I believe with some Stampin' Up. I have some yellow, also from Stampin' Up. I have some My Colors Craft. And then I also have some bright pink. Okay, so we're going to use that. Now, since on the previous kit, I was using embellishments that were red and pink, so I tried not to overload this kit with too much of that color and to really play up some of the other colors. So then I went around to my stash and I looked for embellishments, and I really did not have much in the way of Bella Blvd embellishments. I had some of these white bows. And then, as you knew in the last kit, I had some of these crochet hearts. So I pulled out 2 different colors, the bright fuchsia pink and they call these punch hearts, and they call this pickle juice green. And I also had, this was an old Tuesday morning purchase, the Bella Blvd Make Your Mark epoxy stickers. Okay, but that's not going to be enough for a whole kit. So what else am I going to add in? Well, let's try a few more stickers. I went around my room and I found these Doodlebug. Those had some of the right colors in it. I'm going to add that in. And I also had these thickers called High Five. Hope that's not too much glare. So that's a lot of big, bold, and black, which I think will work good in this kit. And then, being driven off of this, all of these flowers and plants, I came across these buttons that I thought were very nice. These are by Love and Lemon Craft Company. I believe these came in a kit, or maybe not. Anyway, I thought those were really pretty. I found some white acrylic pieces that I had left over from something. Those were from a kit. In that same vein, I had some KI Playlist smiley faces and hearts in the white plastic. I found some Park Lane photo frames in the black and white, so we can do a little playing up of the black and white. I'm not sure, these are probably American crafts. These are some metal edged tags, so we'll add those in. I went and I found a bunch of, in my color boxes, black and white words and black and white small labels or journaling spots. So I'm going to add those in. I found some black matte dots. I found this little package that had the orange and the yellow in it that I thought would work good. This is Life Love Paper Company. Those were from an old kit. So I'm going to add those in here. And then I found these, just a few stickers left over from this Crate Paper Wonder, so I threw that in there. Okay, like I said, that's kind of going and shopping my room. And then I decided I would go and look at my individual color boxes that I take to crops. And those are 4x6 iris photo boxes. And I have 2 for each color. One will have lump and bump in it, as Janet would call it, and the other would have dimensional pieces, flat pieces. So one has dimensional and one has flat. So I pulled out this little container from last month's kit, and I left a few things here. I left in the metal frames and photo turns. I left in the gold edged brads. And then I think everything else is new. So I've got some epoxy pieces here. I've got a couple of flare here that are multicolored. I found these paisley buttons in the individual colors. And once I pulled the first one, I looked for them in the other colors too. So those are real cute. That flare was from before. I found from, what's the name of that Findings company? These are all buttons, but they're all outdoorsy, be happy. So bumblebees. I also found some ladybugs and some little red buttons. I found this little acrylic heart, and then I went and pulled 2 buttons to go with it. So if I wanted to make a little cluster there. I found this pink butterfly and a couple little pink and gray pieces. I found these chunky hearts. I found a couple of pieces of the bright yellow ribbon and some buttons that are meant to be ribbon slides. Some bright green die cuts and chipboard. A few more, epoxy tags. Some of these prongless brads. Those were in a kit once upon a time. Some acrylic pieces. This cute camera. A couple of white and black buttons and some little yellow bows. And then these cute little epoxy pieces. These were by Making Memories. These are really old, and there were some white ones in there as well, but the white ones were starting to yellow, so I threw all of those away, but I think the black ones will still work real well. Okay, I hope you're not getting too much glare off of that. Okay, so there is my kit. And we'll see how quickly I can go through all of that scrapping in good company with Bella Blvd. If you want to play along, see if you can pull a kit together. These all seem to have the same vibe, that happy vibe that I like so much. So this should be interesting to see if I can make these pages look somewhat different from last month's pages, because I'm still using bright, happy colors. Okay, that's all I have. I will see you in a couple of weeks back here with what I have done with these items. And in the meantime, I hope you have a lot of fun scrapping whatever it is you're scrapping, and I hope you always scrap in good company too. Thanks so much for your time and attention. Bye for a bit.